Welcome to Leadership Live with Anton Gunn. I'm excited to be with you. I want to talk today about sponsorship. Now, when I say sponsorship, I want you to understand that the reason why you're not in the position that you want to be in your organization is not because you don't have the smarts. It's not because you don't have the credentials. It's not because you haven't joined the right association or you've been to the right conference or that you have connected with the right group of people. That's not the reason why you're not there. It definitely isn't not about your work ethic. It's not about all of the things that you think it's about. The reason why you are not in the senior level position that you want to be in has nothing to do with your skill set or your abilities, but it has everything to do with sponsorship. See, I've seen this time and time again. Senior level executives who really want to be in the C-suite or they want to be at that next rung of the corporate ladder, but they don't know what it takes to get there. They struggle to find the opportunity. They struggle to find the role. Now, the main reason why they struggle to find the opportunity in the role is because of sponsorship. Now, when you get the right sponsor, when you get connected to the right people, when you get the advocacy that you need, you accelerate your career. And honestly, the difference between senior executives and executives who have stall out in their career, and that's the reason why I call this the leaders who rise or the leaders who stall. The ones who I see stall are the ones that have no sponsor. They have no one who is advocating on their behalf. And if you have a sponsor will be critical to you achieving every single thing that you want to achieve in your professional career. A sponsor is the key to you having the long-lasting impact that you want to have in your career. But without a sponsor, without sponsorship, you might stall out at the position that you're in. And before you know it, you will look up, you've been in the same job for the last decade, doing the same work, no new responsibilities, no new growth. Yeah, you might be making good money, but you know that you're not having the impact that you're supposed to have. So what am I telling you to do? I'm not telling you to do nothing other than to listen to what I'm about to share with you. Now, as you can see, I'm not in my home office today. I'm actually in a hotel room, and I am actually getting ready to go to do a half-day event with a group of leaders. And so I don't have a whole lot of time this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a very few minutes laying out what does it take to get sponsorship and what do you need to do to get the right executive. Now, when I say the right executive, here's what I want you to understand, that everybody in the C-suite ain't for you, particularly if you're a young leader, if you're a woman, a person of color, someone that is traditionally underrepresented. You want to be in the C-suite. You want to be at the executive table, and you want someone to help you to get there. But everybody in the C-suite ain't for you. And so I don't want you to waste your time, waste your energy, waste your effort talking to someone or chasing an opportunity with someone that is never going to come. So I want to give you a sense of how you can position yourself for sponsorship. How can you make sure that you get a sponsor who can help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve? Because I'm going to tell you again, you cannot get there without sponsorship. Your degrees are not going to get you in the room. I don't care how many certifications you got. Everybody know you're smart. Everybody know you're capable. Everybody know you're performing. But that's still not the reason why people rise to the highest levels of executive leadership. It's not the credentials. It's not even your emotional intelligence. Those things help, but those are things that are expected for people who are at the senior levels of an organization. They're expected to be emotionally intelligent. They're expected to know their craft, to know their work, to know the products and the services. They're expected to know the things that people need to know to be a senior level strategic leader. They're expected. So those things are not what's going to get you in the room, though. They're not it. You're going to need a sponsor. Now, let me tell you what a sponsor is. A sponsor is a person who's already in the room. They're already at the table. They're already respected. They're already valued for their opinion. And most importantly, when they say something at the executive table, the people around the table listen to them. That's the person that you want to have as a sponsor. That's the person that when they say something about you in that room, everybody takes notice and they respond accordingly, and the opportunity comes to you. But if you don't have that sponsor, again, you will never get in the room. So here's what I want to give you. I want to give you 4 quick things that you need to be doing right now if you want to position yourself to be sponsored by someone. And if I haven't laid out clearly what sponsorship is, let me just tell you, it's this. It's a person who's more senior than you, who's in an elite position, who's willing to go to bat for you to tell other people why you need to be in the room, why you need that senior level position, why they should consider you for the promotion, why should they put you in their succession plan as they prepare to retire or leave the organization. So I want you to understand that sponsors are everything. They matter more than anything else. Again, more than your degrees, more than your credentials, more than your smarts, more than the P&L that you manage. You got to have a sponsor. So here's what you need to do. 4 quick things that you need to do if you want to get a sponsor to help you to find your next level and rise to the highest heights in your organization. The first thing you need to do is you need to serve before you seek sponsorship. Serve before you seek sponsorship. Now, what am I saying? Serve before you seek sponsorship. You have a job. You know that. You got duties. You know that. You got responsibilities. You know that. But service is above and beyond that. So if you identify a person who is committed, who's authentic, accountable, and impactful in the organization, that is not the CEO. Let me be clear. I'm not talking about the CEO, but you need to find an executive leader who is committed, who's authentic and accountable, who's impactful in the organization. And then you need to figure out what you can do to serve that person. Help them to be more committed. Help them to be more authentic. Help them to be more impactful. Help them to grow their scope of work. You need to be a servant first. So don't go and just ask somebody who looks the part and is in the room and say, hey, can you sponsor me? They're going to look at you like they don't know you from a man in the moon, even if they do know you. Because a sponsor is not just going to put their name on the line for someone that they don't have value for. So how do you give value? You serve them. You help them to achieve their goals and objectives. You find a way to work on something that they need you to work on. Help them with something, a new project, a new goal. Volunteer. Be fully committed to investing in helping them. And I'm going to tell you now, you need to serve them for at least a year before you seek sponsorship. This ain't about transaction, y'all. I'm telling you now, this is not about you. Let me scratch your back and then you scratch mine and put me in the room. No. Serving them for a year. Be committed to be a sister, a participator, a partner, something to help them to be more successful in their work for at least a year. At least a year. And see, I know some of you probably tuning in like, a year? Why I got to do it for a year? Listen, this is not transactional. This is not overnight. There's no person who gets to the executive table overnight that deserves to be in the room. They do it by work. So I'm telling you right now, You need to serve before you seek sponsorship, at least a year. That's the first thing you need to do. Now, here's the second thing that you need to do. You need to be brilliant in public. When I say brilliant in public, listen, if you don't know how to give a compelling and empowering and impactful presentation in the workplace, then you've missed the boat all along. You heard me right. If you don't know how to deliver a compelling, empowering, or impactful presentation in the work that you every day, then you're doing it wrong. You can't be the person that thinks, you know what, just because I work hard, everybody's going to see my brilliance. Nobody's going to see your brilliance. You know, there's some old adage that says closed mouths don't get fed. Well, if you want to be fed opportunities, you got to learn how to open your mouth. And when you open your mouth, you better have something to say. And whatever you have to say better be brilliant. That means you need to speak with purpose and intention. Don't just run off at the mouth just to have something to say, but to have something to say of consequence. You have to be seen as brilliant in the organization. And that means additive. That means value additive in your communications and what you demonstrate, how you articulate your points, how you deliver a message. You have to be brilliant in public. I don't need to beat this one to the ground. I think you get it. If you don't get it, then let me know in the comments that you don't understand what it means to be brilliant in public. The third thing you need to do if you want a good sponsor is you need to position yourself around power. Position yourself around power is first understanding that there is a power structure in every organization. And I know most of you think the power structure is around the CEO. The CEO is in the power structure, but the CEO is not the most powerful person in the organization. The board of directors is the most powerful group in the organization. And on the board of directors is a chairman of the board. Chairman of the board. So there's levels above the CEO, there's levels beside the CEO and below the CEO. My question for you, in the position that you're in right now, does your boss's boss know your name? I'm going to repeat it very simply. Does your boss's boss know your name? If your boss's boss doesn't know your name, then you haven't positioned yourself around power. I'm going to say it again. If your boss's boss doesn't know your name, doesn't even know you exist, you haven't positioned yourself around power. So, how do you position yourself around power? You position yourself around power by being brilliant in public. And you become the person that they want to have on this committee, that they want to have in the room, that they want to put into a leadership role. You have to position yourself around power. That is the third thing that you need to do if you want to sponsor, because sponsors are powerful people in the organization. I already laid that out. And if you don't even know the power structure, how can you position yourself around power? If your boss's boss doesn't know your name, and I'm not saying you don't need to know their name, because I suspect that if you know anything about power in your organization, you know your boss's boss's name. But here's the question. Do they know your name? If they don't, you're not ready for sponsorship. Number 4, the last point that I want to give you is that once you serve them long enough, once you've been brilliant in public long enough, and once you have assured that your boss's boss, and maybe even their boss, knows your name, you need to be comfortable in asking for the advocacy, asking for them to put you on. If you don't ask to be put on, again, closed mouths don't get fed. You won't get on if you don't ask for it. But you dare not ask for it if you haven't served before seeking sponsorship. You should not ask for it if you haven't been brilliant in public. You should not ask for it if you're not positioned around power, because you're not going to get it. You can't be working in the mailroom and say, hey, put me on the executive search committee for the new chief financial officer. That's not going to go well. So you got to learn how to ask for the advocacy that you need to be in position. Now, here's the reason why I'm laying out these 4 points. Serve before you seek sponsorship, be brilliant in public, position yourself around power, and to ask for advocacy. Here's the reason why. This takeaway comes from one of my colleagues. His name is Gerald Cozy, and it's a remixed version of what Gerald Cozy said in a meeting one day. He said, Anton, relationships break rules. And that sat with me for a second. I was like, relationships break rules. And what he was trying to explain is that if you have the right relationships, it don't matter what the rules of the game are, you can get around those rules. And what am I saying to you? I'm not saying break rules. I like override better than break. Relationships override rules. What am I saying to you? I'm saying to you this. The most important positions in an organization many times are not posted on Indeed and they're not posted on LinkedIn. There is a job description and that job description is posted, but you're not going to find it on Indeed.com or QuickJobs.com or LinkedIn.com. You're not going to find it there. You know why? Because those jobs go through search firms. Those jobs go through executive recruiters. And executive recruiters go to people who are sponsors and say, who do you know that would be good for this COO role? And if you haven't served them before you sought them out, if you haven't been brilliant in public, if you haven't positioned yourself around power, if you don't ask for advocacy, when that search firm gets a call to find out who would be good for this role, they're not going to say your name because they don't know your name. So I hope this has been impactful for you. I hope you understand. If this is something that you found valuable, I want you to tell me what you found the most valuable. I want you to like and share this video with somebody who needs to hear it. But the main reason why some leaders rise while other leaders stall is because they lack sponsorship. And this video was to show you how to get the sponsorship that you need to have the impact that you deserve to have in your organization and for the people that you serve. So I want to thank you for watching. This has been another episode of Leadership Live with Anton Gunn. Everybody have a great week. Peace.